इतना सा फर्क है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रैंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रैंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good afternoon, one and all. We welcome you to the Business Opportunity Over Chai webinar series. This is our Sunday special. Franchise India is Asia's largest franchisee company. We do not endorse any particular brand. It's a platform through which we want to facilitate our all international and national brands and all our potential business buyers. We have helped brands presenting from education, retail, service, etc. vertical to expand their business with our 70 plus offices. And we have, till now, we have served 40,000 investors to get business dreams from us. We welcome you to the 126th edition. And with this, we welcome the management team of Franchise India, Mr. Gaurav Maria, Ms. Sonia Chaudhary, and Ms. Venus Parak. And today, this particular webinar is hosted by 3 of them. They'll be sharing their advice, suggestion, feedback, and they'll be talking about the business also, industry also. We welcome the brand of the day, BBX India. Today, we are presenting this brand to you. They are committed to building profitable and sustainable business in new world. They are already operational in 11 markets. They have served 20,000 merchants and they cater 1,300 plus product and service category. And it's our privilege to welcome Mr. Vijay Bhas, who is the CEO, and Mr. Yusuf, who is the business development head, to present their business ideas. Thank you so much, Vijay and Yusuf, for joining us today. Over to you to present your business idea with all our investors.
Yes, good afternoon all, and we extend a warm welcome to today's webinar. We have some interesting presentation to share with you, a new business model in India, which will definitely interest any business-minded person. Let's straight move into the presentation. BBX, as Archana had introduced. Thanks, Archana, for the fine introduction. So, as Archana had introduced, BBX is a 25-year-old proven business model. Initially started in Australia, then now expanded in over 11 countries, present in 11 countries. So, we entered India late last year, and we've been doing inroads across the world. We have 20,000 B2B merchants who are trading in B2B BBX platform. So you might be asking what BBX is all about. BBX is a technology platform combined with a fintech support, which supports business houses not only in exchanging goods and services, but also offering financial solutions to their problem. So there are two aspects to it. One is a technology platform to exchange goods and services. The other two is offer financial solutions for as an alternative to cash. So let me just explain both of that. To just give you a background, BBX works on a credit model. It is called BBX Trade Credits. So how does generally traders exchange goods and services? It's either through the barter system or through cash. These are the most preferred formats. So BBX came up with a model where we offer something called a digital trade credits, where it is an internal credit system between traders. So we build communities. Right now we have a community of 20,000 members across the world. So each member trades with another member, either being a buyer or a seller. They either buy or they sell, and they exchange their value in something called DTC, which is digital trade credit. So they don't have to necessarily pay cash. So how does this happen? Once a trader, for example, if you're a furniture manufacturer or a furniture seller, if you come into the platform, depending on your business credentials, we give you a credit limit just like a credit card. Now, if you have a credit card, say you have 2 lakhs of credit limit, just like a credit limit, BBX offers you a digital trade credit limit. Business, depending on your business credentials, say for example, BBX gives you a trade credit of 10 lakhs. Now, with that 10 lakhs, you can buy anything you want in the platform. As a business owner, say for example, a furniture manufacturer wants to buy few laptops for his office, or he wants to buy a few air conditioners, or he wants to take a vacation for his office colleagues to Thailand. BBX has the platform to offer you all these solutions. There are sellers to do that in the platform. So just using this digital trade credits, you can just buy any of these products. Now, how do you settle this back? There are two aspects to it. One is, unlike a bank, BBX does not charge interest. I'm sorry. So unlike a bank, we don't charge interest at all. So once you use the credit, there is no interest for this for lifetime. So even if you exhaust your entire 10 lakhs which is given to you, you don't have to pay any interest for this. Now, number two is there is no limit. It is an indefinite period of credit limit. Hence, there is no time period for you to pay this money back. This need not be paid as cash, so nobody will call you to ask you to pay this money back. Now, naturally, your question will be, how do I settle this money back, or digital trade credits? As a business owner, you have products to sell. You have excess inventory. Say, for example, if you are a furniture seller, you have furnitures which is lying in your warehouse, which is excess inventory. And BBX has a network of 20,000 merchants, and these merchants want furnitures. Now, whenever somebody in the platform needs furniture, we facilitate for them to come to you to buy your goods and services and exchange with DTC. So once you have bought laptops, your credit limit from say 10 lakhs might have come down to minus 5 lakhs. Now, once you sell furnitures, again it goes back with a higher credit limit. Maybe it would go to positive, and from then on you can exchange, buy or sell goods and services within the platform. So there are two aspects to this business. One foundation is helping you to exhaust your excess inventory. Number two is to increase your cash flow by giving a digital trade credit, which is an alternative to cash, which is as good as cash. You can um, buy any goods and services that you require in a B2B platform. How BBX is different from others is BBX is purely a business to business platform, and it is a technology platform which supports with a platform, a technological support for you to exchange goods and services, also to give you the leverage to transact with an alternative of cash. However, this BBX trade credits cannot be converted into cash. Neither cash can be converted into BBX trade credits. Hence, these trade credits always remain within the system, and it can be used only to exchange goods and services. So that's been our success model, and we have been quite successful in doing what we are doing right now. And we have, as mentioned earlier, these are the countries that we are successfully present right now. And unlike other companies, we offer a solution across countries. So if a member in India wants to buy something in UK, or a member in UK wants to buy a property in India, our system facilitates that. As long as it is as per the laws governed by the land, we are fine with transacting within countries. And Australia has been doing very well in selling lands to Indian merchants. So whoever wants to buy land in Australia, or Australians buying land in India or properties in India, we facilitate those transactions as well. Can we move to the next slide? Yes. So this is how the business functions. Once a community licensee comes into, a franchisee comes on board, then we expect the community licensee or the franchisee to build a network of members in that city. Say, for example, you're in Bombay. Now you will have business connects. You will have a network of business owners. Once you bring all of them into platform, then they can just trade within themselves, or they can trade within cities, they can trade within countries. The platform supports any kind of trading that is required, either for a buyer or a seller. So these are the benefits that you will receive as a franchisee. Can we move? Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, this platform offers a zero interest credit line, which means there is absolutely no interest for the credit line that is being offered to you. So irrespective of whatever level it goes to, even if you exhaust the 100% of the credit line, we don't charge interest. Uh, uh, we manage the BBX marketplace, which is a technology platform. This technology platform is robust and it is as secured as a banking platform. So the transactions done through this platform is safe, secure, and it's very versatile. Settlement process through members happens very flawless, and without cash, members can just transact within the community without the use of cash. Why we do this? Because there is a cash crunch in the market, especially in COVID-19 situation. People need excess cash. Banks don't support most of the B2B fraternities, most of the business owners, especially SMEs and MSMEs. In that scenario, BBX comes into play, where we give an alternative to cash and we give a platform to buy what you need to build your business. We facilitate B2B trade using BBX trade credits. So these are some of the benefits. By being an active member of the BBX, many members have told us that they are able to preserve cash for expenses which require cash, and which does not require cash can be bought and sold in BBX. So now I request Yusuf to take you through some of the segmented approach, where a particular seller or a buyer, how we can benefit from the platform.
Thanks, Vijay. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. So this is just to show you how a model works on BBX. Say if there is an hotel operator and he is having a current credit line of rupees 1 lakh, and he buys a wine worth of rupees 60,000 from a wine supplier. Okay, so what happens is the hotel operator gets the wine and he has to settle it using his credit line. Okay, and the wine supplier gets his excess stock sold to the hotel operator whom he was not currently in touch with. So he's getting an excess sale of 60,000, and at the same time hotel operator also sells his room agent, okay, who has a credit line of 60,000, has bought his 50,000 worth of rooms from hotel operator. So end of the day, the hotel operator had the 1 lakh of credit line, wherein he bought a wine of 60,000 rupees and sold his room of 50,000 rupees. He still has a balance of 90,000 rupees. So this model shows you how BBX work on the platform, wherein you can interchange in the loop and everybody benefits out of it without having to pay, or you are saving your cash transactions. So before this, the hotel was buying these wines of 60,000 paying cash, wherein he was able to sell it on the platform, and at the same time he is also able to sell his excess rooms on the platform to a travel agent and earning out of it also. So he is using this to manage his cash flow and increase his business. This is how a perfect model works like. And about the community licensee, we are looking actually for community licensee in India, and currently India is a very large and potential market. And even still, if we see due to COVID, a lot of people are facing a difficulty in using their excess stock available with them, and this is the right opportunity. Currently India is a very fast growing GDP in the world, and it is having a 2.94 trillion in 2019, and we are regularly achieving 7% of growth in the market. So this is the right time to shift our businesses from and bringing the new businesses using the online platform, which is very much growing fastly throughout the world. you can see that some of the cities has large potential like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Kolkata, Chennai, and so on. And these are the cities which will be the first, I believe, who will be transferring their businesses into the online businesses. So, what will be the roles and responsibilities of stakeholders? For say there is a BBX trade platform wherein all the members come on board and they use the platform. BBX will be the person who will be handling those responsibilities. System security of that online platform is also the role of BBX. BBX will take care of all the risk management, system security, and the platform settlement and everything. And member acquisition and getting the new members on board will be the role of the community licensee, who will be a business partner with BBX. Marketing collaterals will again be provided by BBX, and website content will be globally managed by BBX. And for the community, a community licensee can manage his content of how the product should look like on the platform and how they want to present their community. And training will again be provided by BBX, and networking will be depending on national level. BBX will do it, and even on the international level, community level, community will do it, and consultant level, the members will be doing it. And marketing communication again for global, BBX will do it, and community licensee will do for his community. And there will be a trade facilitator which community licensee will have, which will help in facilitating the trade between the members. So, what will be the revenue sharing? If a member, a community licensee comes on board, we will be sharing 50% of all the fees and revenues generated with them on the platform, so that they are totally equal partner with us on the revenue sharing, and at the same time they will also grow their business with us. So, just to show you how you can prepare your financial projection and how your business will look like on the year one, year two, year three, year four, and year five, you can certainly plan certain numbers for your own business, like what are the new members you are planning. So, what will be the total volume out of it, revenue from those members sign up, and what will be the revenue from trading from them, and what will be the gross revenue every year, and the expenses which you will incur, and end of the day what will be your net income out of it. So you can use this model to understand how you can take this you can make your own financial projection in a way that how you can make your community licensee profitable, and from when you can start making the profit using this model. So coming on board, you can prepare an estimated timeline of, say, you can make a detailed business planning or roadmap of what will be the financial budgeting, and setting up your organizational structure, like who will be your TCOs or trading facilitators, and who will be the person who will be bringing in the sales, and who will be pitching in for the members. And you can prepare a proper plan wherein you can decide on what will be a planning, and what will be a marketing and training plans, and accordingly you can make those estimations on each month what can you achieve. And after that, what you require is certain documentations and due diligence for becoming a community licensee. Once you complete that, you are on board with us. Also, as Vijay was saying previously, that we have a mechanism to calculate that how do we give you a credit score. Okay, so there are certain parameters you can see right now on the screen, which you use to understand what category of DTC credit line you fall under. So we calculate basis on your what is your paid up capital, number of years you are operation into, what kind of revenue you have, the sales you are doing currently, and what is the category of your business. It is ownership, or what kind of a is it a private limited company, or what it is, and number of employees you have, and the if you are in the targeted companies, which you can see we have mentioned in the right side of the screen, like if you are into sales and marketing, professional services, corporate gifts, incentive plans, and logistics, you additionally get 10 as a point for getting extra credit line. So basis on that, a score is calculated, and basis on that score we come to understand how your DTC line will look like, or your credit line will look like. Starting from 2,50,000, we provide up to 50 lakhs, and even if required more than that, basis on the case. Case to case basis we calculate, and we will provide you the credit score line. So basically, what will be required is we will require 6 months bank statement and a CIBIL score from you to calculate anything about 2,50,000 credit score, and accordingly we will provide you with those credit scores. And also, what will be required as a document from you will be your business GST number, your PAN card, Aadhaar card copies, your membership application duly filled, and other documents which will provide you to be filled will be required duly signed. And also we will require a self declaration from you if there is anything pending on your name, and that's all. That is something will be enough for you getting on board as a community licensee. And the kind of industries which we are targeting are restaurant, accounting services, companies, secretaries, travel agencies, car rentals and furnitures and gift hampers, hardware supplies, groceries, stationery, wine and liquor. Wine and liquor is something which is not allowed in India, so we will not be getting wine and liquor on the board. Same way, gambling, illegal activities, or anything political or defense related is not allowed on the online platform in India. So that also will not be allowed here. And apart from that, cryptocurrency trading is also not allowed on the platform. Apart from that, all the other business are welcome on board, and we can create a proper community on the platform. That's all from my end. Thank you.
So this is what we presented for. Generally, we speak to members, but right now we are talking to franchisees. So who is a franchisee? What is the difference between a member and a franchisee? Is that a franchisee will have a set of members under him as a team who will be trading among themselves or within other communities. So basically, we are talking to you as franchisees who will have two. Who will have two roles. One is to build a community in the city you are in. Say, for example, if you are in Chennai, then you have a basic responsibility to build a community. Maybe initially, first year, you might look at a community of 50, 60 business owners who should come into the platform. Of course, there is a fee that they have to pay to come into the platform. And then once they pay that fees, then their products can be put up on the shop. Our platform has a shop where they can showcase their products and services, and so they can also buy their products and services from other members across the city or within the community. So within the community, when it happens, then there is a 50% sharing of all the fees that we generate with the city partner or the community licensee or the franchisee directly from the buyer as well as the seller. So there is a 6% of transaction charge that we claim that we charge as a fee for every transaction that happens from the buyer and the seller. So once you become a city partner or a franchisee, you are entitled to get 50% of that. 6% from the buyer and the seller if both happens within your community. But if buyer is from your community and seller is from a different community or different city franchisee, then you get only 50% of either the buying or the selling that happens in your community. That is one. Number two, every membership that comes in, there is a charge of 25,000 plus taxes, and you will be getting 50% straight away from every member who comes on board. And there is a third fee called the annual admin fee for managing our technology, which is 2,500 rupees. This is a recurring cost every year to manage their books of accounts and the technology. So you will be getting 50% of this fees as well. So if you, over a period of time, if you build a community of 300 members, then we are talking about 300 into 2,500, 50% of that every year as an annual income. And we are talking about 300 into 25,000, 50% of that as your immediate return on investment. And we are looking at a permanent income of transactions. So you will, as a city partner, you will either be doing trading among your members yourself, or you'll be employing somebody who can facilitate trading among members. Every trading that happens, on the total trade volume, you will be earning 50% of the 6% charge we earn. So this is a big business potential for any franchisee who comes on board. This is a proven business model. So we look forward to having more detailed discussions with you on this.
Thank you, Vijay, and thank you, Yusuf, for a lovely presentation. And let me begin with giving a little bit of what I have captured from Vijay's answer. This Vijay and the BBX it's been doing for many years. Earlier, the company was called Bata Card, and then started with the very physical, and now because of technology, they have shifted the entire business model to technology. And Franchise India had an association, very long-standing association, from the days when this was in Australia, and they used to get a physical credit card kind of thing.
Yes.
Which people used to have machine. When you go to a hotel, you had two choices: either you can pay through cash, or you can use the Bata Card and use the Bata Card, and the points would go from your entire bill. So actually, I've stayed in some of the Australian hotels long back and used the Bata Card. So that's how the card used to work, and used to be very successful for a lot of people who don't want to spend. So the business model essentially revolves around two simple things. One, how do you reserve cash? Every business owner today, everywhere, especially small and medium enterprises, businesses, factories, industrialists, are only thinking about, at this moment particularly, reserve cash. And this problem actually, when Buttercard was built in Australia, Australia was exactly in the same situation. Economy was down, a lot of people were sitting on huge inventories, cash flows were slow, and that's where the company really started. The foundation of the company was really kept on that perspective, because everybody was struggling. There was so much of, remember when we go to Gold Coast or places like that, the hotels were there, and they wanted to really trade, but they were all trading at 20%, 30% occupancy ratio. So there's a lot of cash flow issue. So everybody wants to reserve cash. Today also, if you really look around the businesses, almost all India has 30 million businesses, 30 million business, small and medium enterprise businesses. And if you ask, almost 100% of them would say, if I get a choice, I would like to reserve cash. I don't want to spend cash. Right. The second big problem they're trying to solve is unsold inventory. Every business, you might be very successful. You might be a doctor. You're running the entire thing. You still have inventory to sell. Everybody has inventory. You go to the best hotel in the city, you will say, I have 90% occupancy level. What is it telling you? That 10% is still has available. So everybody has one big problem, which is inventory, unsold inventory, which is wasted. You don't do anything on that. And second side, you want to reserve cash. On these two principles, barter was really an answer. And barter is also not new. It's actually the first currency which came in. Before cash was introduced and people can trade easily, people used to give, give something and take something. And that was done in community, and the communities were built on that. So everything was really about that. You used to give rice and take something from somebody, and that's how the communities were built. Same business model backed by a smart fintech product is the BBX model. They are the market leaders globally, and they have done it over the years. They've done the physical avatar. Now they're doing it through technology. Technology gives the ease of operating. Earlier, it used to be, you have to call the Buttercard company and say, look, can you introduce me to this? I want to buy furniture. Can you do that? And so on and so forth. Now this has become a much more facilitating. I personally feel India and for the current times, this is a fabulous opportunity. Now the opportunity, how it needs to be done. It's another thing which is very important in this, why I think I like Vijay using community franchise, because the trade also happens in community. Most of the small businesses, whatever they want to buy, they buy locally. Whatever they want to sell, also sell locally. Then very rare trade between one market to another market. Only in B2B cases, you will like to sell from entirely. But in most of the other cases, say if you want to buy office stationery, you buy locally. If you want to buy, so a lot of expense side, if you see anybody's balance sheet, there is about 20-25% of things they buy, which are required by them, and they have to put cash. All these 25%, say your monthly expenses 10 lakh rupees for running that. Take out the HR, take out the entire thing, but you have to spend about 2 lakh rupees for buying a lot of things. You buy coffee for your office staff, you buy something for this, something for that. Everybody can take out in balance sheet and say, these 2 lakh rupees, if I don't want to spend cash, can I use this 2 lakh rupees, save this 2 lakh rupees in my books and use something which I am not selling, which is lying in my godown and taking up space, and I am not using that. So that's how this opportunity would be. Today, automobile companies, consumer electronic companies, small goods companies, everybody has a lot of inventory lying there which they want to offload. And they also need for their businesses something they want to do that. The only restriction they have is that the cash they used to trade for, the cash has vanished. There's a lot of liquidity isn't happening. So they are solving this problem. But the issue I would say, and I will start with that questions with Vijay, and Also like to invite my colleagues Sonia and Venus also to think about questions and pick up the entire thing. But what is the way, Vijay, because there is a very important part in this, that if you really want to build a successful business, like any kind of community business, like a BNI is a networking business, right? So if you want to build a successful community business, you essentially need to really set the total bank rate. So which means you set 300 merchants. So do you give any guidance to people to really go to market and how fast they can reach to? Because the formula is, if you get 300 merchants coming in and very carefully designing who would need whom, is there algorithm or some structure you really advise? Because it's very important, because you cannot get everybody from the same space, but you need to really have who can complement whom and who can complement. And designing of that merchant planning, to me, is an art. If you're able to do that, then it is a very, very successful business. If you know your community businesses and what would need what, and how you need to do that, and maybe set it up with one of the successful examples you've seen in the world or anywhere in the world, where one community franchise has been beautifully designed and kind of trading volumes they would be able to do. So over to you, Vijay.
So that's a very nice question, Gaurav. That's very intense. In fact, I didn't expect that question from you. That was a very nice question. So how does a community licensee build a community is very simple. So as you rightly said, we need to have at least one member from each business. So that's our goal. So we need to have one laptop seller, one mobile seller, one furniture seller, one saloon, one restaurant, one petrol pump owner, one white goods seller. So we need to have one business owner to start with. At least we need to have these guys on board. So to start with, I would say to get 10 to 15 members a month for a community licensee shouldn't be much difficult, without any investment on manpower. Just with his existing network and business connections, community licensee will be able to get 10 to 15 members. But if he has resources to appoint a couple of people to bring in new members, I feel getting 20 to 25 members a month is not far-fetched. And within a year's time, I think any community licensee can have 200 members. And by the second year, end of second year, he can have a healthy number of 300 to 400 member base. And we need to have at least 250 to 300 member base for any community to be robust, and for us to generate the kind of transaction which will earn us the kind of money that we are looking at. So we are looking at say 250 members in the first year. We are talking about 250 into 25,000 divided by half is the revenue that we are talking about. And if we are talking about say 5 crores as trade volume completely, buying and selling put together, we are talking about 6% of that as trade commission, and 50% of that is being shared with the community licensee. And every year there is a recurring cost of the 250 members into 2,500 divided by half. So I think any city licensee by the end of 2 years, if he is able to build somewhere around 250 to 300 members, I think he's here to stay, and it's a very robust and successful business.
So very interesting. This is all about building the community and making the community, encourage the community to trade.
Yes.
Once they start trading and seeing the benefit, they become an automated structure. And you have 3 incomes, very clearly 3 incomes. And do the maths on 300. One income when you enroll them, 25,000, 50% of that, 12,500 rupees into 300 becomes your one-time income. So that takes care of your entire thing. Then you have a yearly income of 1,250 rupees into 300 annualized every year, which come to you. Third, which is the bigger volume. If you start seeing 5 crores as an annual trading, it's nothing. 300 merchants trading annually is nothing. 5 crores to me. It can be even bigger. Even rather, one big trade happens between 2 groups. Say, in the older avatars, we saw, I think Videocon did one trade on 1,000 air conditioners versus something. So that was a single company. I know in the older avatar of when the Bata card was there. So this was a trade done by Videocon. They had 1,000 air conditioners. They gave it for something which I don't remember what they bought. Something to do with construction material, cement or something like that. So this was a big trade. So now at that volume of trade, 6% of the trading value comes to you, which means 6% of 5 crores would mean almost about 30 odd lakhs rupees 50% of that 30 lakh rupees, which means 15 lakh rupees, becomes your income. So structurally, there are three things which are important for you to really do. Largely two, but one is get the community on board, get the community merchants on board, and second, create enough engagement with them so that the trading starts happening and you are able to retain these people on the platform so they can continue to trade. So now let's go into Vijay, understanding, while this is a model I think people would have got now, what kind of investment it takes to become a community partner. That's one. Second, how do you define communities? India has big cities, which are 10 million plus cities. You have smaller cities, you have further smaller cities. How do you really define community, and how do you want to define? And that's one question. And second, who is the ideal person for you? And one of our franchise senior consultant, Anshuman, is asked BNI or BNI. It's not like BNI, Anshuman. It's BNI is not giving each other reference. Businesses helping businesses, or professionals helping professionals, or any kind of it's a networking platform. But a profile of a BNI owner can be a very good BBX owner, because he's anyway, as a franchisee of a BNI, it can be very good because he already had a community. Now what he's doing is, at this stage, he's doing reference with each other, but they're not trading on any platform. That can be a good opportunity. That would be a great profiling of people. But what is your ideal profiling, Vijay? What would be you looking at the profile, and also give us a little bit on the how do you put this community rollout? I mean, what kind of cities?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good question, Gaurav. Let me start before answering that question. Let me just give you a brief of saying selling this to a new member is not going to be very difficult. 25,000. If say I'm going to Mr. Gaurav to say that, Mr. Gaurav, if you become a member, you're a furniture seller, please become a member of BBX. Once you become a member, first your question is, why should I pay 25,000 rupees? Once you become 25,000, we are going to give you a credit line, maybe 10 times more than what you're paying. So that's the first selling point. Now, if you're going to pay 25,000 rupees, the very next 2 hours you will have a credit line of 2.5 lakhs or 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs. It's going to be depending on your business credentials. So I'm going to give you a credit line one. Number two is, I'm going to help you to set up a shop and exhaust your inventories. And so this money, or what you invest, you're going to get it as credit line immediately, and that you can spend. So coming back to the investment, a city franchisee, a community licensee, we expect a community licensee to invest a license fee of 5 lakhs plus taxes. That's going to be the fee for taking up licensee. This can be just breaken even by bringing 20 members into the platform. So you bring in 20 members, you are breaking even. This can happen within the first couple of months of you becoming a community licensee. For us, more than the investment, what is required of a community licensee?
It could be 40 members, because 50% you take it.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So to answer your second question of what is a community like in a city, it depends on the person who is a community licensee. We are looking for a community licensee who has an existing network of business associates, who has a network of business owners already, who can convince their network business owners to come on board and explain the benefits of BBX, and immediately be able to create a network of a member base of, say, 50 to 100 in the first year. So that's the first requirement that we have. That should be the minimum requirement that we are looking at. Anybody who has an interest in running business, who has a desire to excel, who is willing to learn, who is venture into new business, we are ready to support them to any extent to help them build a community and run a robust business. So the selling point, as I said, is very easy and simple. Once you come on board, you will get access to our existing member base of 20,000. The way we are looking at India, I think that within a few years, maybe in the first 3 years, we are looking at that 20,000 member base in India itself. So that's the kind of member base we are looking at in 3 years' time. We will have that big member base for the members to showcase their products and services. And number of members, how a community is defined is very simple. Any member you bring into the system will be a part of your community. Any member the community licensee brings into the system will be permanently mapped into him, and it will never be out of his community. It will always be his community. And whatever transaction happens, the fees will be shared with him. Have I answered your question, Gaurav?
Absolutely. But how do you, the only thing which is left is territory. So 5 lakh rupees is a license fees.
Yes.
And you don't need too much of infrastructure, small team. Maybe you can hire some team which can acquire members. And 40 members you bring in, you have got your money back. And then you have a recurring income coming from the trading and stuff. So
Yes.
40 members is not difficult. When you are going to somebody and say, pay 25,000 and I give you 2 lakh rupees of credit right now, which you can start trading. So it's like you're actually giving more than what you're taking. So a lot of people would become member. But this is incentive of trading. You know, any trading, you need to put some kind of liquidity in the market, and people use that liquidity. And then the liquidity they want to bring back the entire thing. This is cycle. This is how even the financial world works.
That's
You know,
right.
financial world also works on the same principle. Stock markets work on the same principle. They put some liquidity in the system, and that liquidity then start bringing trade. But coming to the cities, how do you divide? I mean,
So,
what is the community
Gaurav,
geographical
just
locations?
to answer that question, we don't prefer to have communities being divided geographically. So that's not in our system. So we at this point of time we are keeping it very fluid. In Bombay, we are looking at 5 to 6 city franchisees or community licensees. So they are open to go anywhere, bring in any member depending on their network. Any member who comes on board has to submit his business credentials. Once he submits, he will be permanently mapped on to the community licensee who brings in that member. So he might be a community licensee in Navi Mumbai, but he might be having a business connect somewhere in Goregaon, which is perfectly fine with us. As long as the member comes on board through the community licensee, he will be mapped to them. Because our business network might not be defined to a geographic location. As long as he stays in one city, he can be mapped anywhere. So that's perfectly fine with us. So at this point of time, we are not seriously looking at geographically dividing a city. We are just mapping members as per the inflow of the members.
That's good, but that's good for bigger cities. But if say I take small city like Jalgaon, and I want to really be there, so would have multiple community
No,
licenses, or a city
we are
like
not.
Jalgaon would have?
No, we are not looking at multiple licensees in smaller towns.
Yeah. So answer is that the bigger cities there would be a multiple licensee, but also it is good that who goes fast. In BNI also same thing happened. People who created their chapters faster, the early chapters got bigger traction, and the later it becomes difficult to bring that. Some big chapters are there in every city, and that's how this business model works. So a first mover advantage comes in. Now, two very interesting questions, and I think important questions have come in, which I would like to take. And one is there a, because I know this is complex from defining from taxation viewpoint. How is taxation being handled in this? That's question number one. And second, I think, say I was a jewelry operator, I was a gold trader, and entirely the margins are not there. I am trading on a 3-4% margin myself, so I would not be able to give 6% commission on my product line.
Yeah, I think I will answer the second question. I will leave Yusuf to answer the accounting question. So why will somebody pay 6% transaction on low margins? That's a brilliant question, I would say. But consider this: what are you selling? You're already selling something which is of excess inventory, which is not selling. Now, to sell this, you have to anyway use one of these methods. Either you have to use marketing, or you have to use a sales guy. Now, by BBX is helping you to save that cost, and we are helping you to exhaust that excess inventory, and we are just charging you 6% of that. Whereas if you have to employ somebody or you have to market that product, you will be spending much more than that. For us, by just coming into BBX platform, we are helping you to exhaust it. For example, if you're a hotel owner, that's what Mr. Gaurav had explained. If you have, say, 10 rooms empty, which is anyway going empty, so you will be running minus 10. That's a loss to you. BBX is helping you exhaust that inventory, and we are only charging you 6% of. Why will you not pay 6% of that money that you're going to earn, which is anyway a loss to you?
So it's also, it can be defined in a manner that the target merchants are people who have excess inventories. You know, so you will not get a gold trader, you will not get an FMCG trader, largely coming on a BBX platform, because they would not see a value
Yes.
in using BBX, because their inventory is commodity, and commodity anyway moves in the market. If they want to liquidate, they can liquidate anytime that commodity, unless and until there is something which has excess lying with them. Even
Yes.
in FMCG, you can have somebody who has, say, I am a product, natural herbal product manufacturer, and I've produced something which is much bigger. You have to understand that people who anyway selling 100% of their produce doesn't need BBX. So you have to understand any merchant you go in, you need to ask yourself before entering that merchant, does he the person who needs to reserve cash, which I think today everybody wants to. The second answer is, do he has inventory which is unsold and I can give him solution, which is somebody who has sitting on unsold inventory. If these two answers we are able to ask a merchant to do that reserve cash and sell your excess inventory, these two things if you define in a merchant, then this is your client. Fashion, I think a big time they would all come in because they have today automobile, a lot of automobile people are sitting there who are sitting on a phenomenal amount of excess inventories. Small goods, there is a lot of small good excess inventory which is lying in the market. And I think in next 2 quarters, 3 quarters, there's so much going to come out in the market. But yes, you will not get maybe somebody who has a very big, fast-moving commodity selling 100% of his capacity would not come on a BBX platform. Yusuf, over to you for taxation.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. So taxation, it will be same as you are currently doing your business. So when two members decide to transact in between themselves, they will come to a conclusion of raising a, say, for example, a 1 lakh rupees of bill. They will say, they will raise the bill they were doing usually while doing the trading. So they will prepare a bill with the tax bill as you are doing regularly. So there is no tax evasion here. You will be properly billing whatever you are transacting, and the taxation part will be covered in this. So now the question will come, how the DTC will be mapped in your accounting book. Now, it is same as you are putting any other credit you get from bank or in cash. Okay, here you will only have to mention as a DTC. If you have an excess DTC, it will be a current asset. And if you have a liability, it will go into the liability of your book. End of the day, it will be treated same way as any other credit you use in the market.
Okay, that's helpful, and I think it would need maybe a little more deeper session on the
Of
defining.
course, yeah,
The
yeah. So
treatment and accounting of DTC is a separate session which will require a couple of hours to explain. We have a complete, so once a community licensee comes on board, we will have a 3-day complete training session as to how accounting treatment
So you need to really know how you contain that, how do you control, how do you monitor transactions,
and
how do you,
how the platform works, how what is our CRM platform, what is our trading platform, how to trade, how to bring somebody on board, what is the documentation process. All these things will be trained.
Sure. So now I'd like to invite Sonia. Sonia, if you want to give your comments and also take up some questions which are coming in. A lot of questions are on that piece, and also if you want to really pick up something on the support function of franchising. Yeah.
Great. I'd like to thank both of you, Yusuf and Vijay. I think a lot of questions, well, I see have been answered, but some I was making a note of, while the discussion was on, and some I've picked up from the audience as well. I want to pick my first question, which I want a little bit understanding on. As you mentioned, the acquisition of a member is about 25,000, and the moment he comes on board, there's a 2.5 lakhs of a credit limit given to him, right, which is interest free. What happens in case the product listed by him on the platform is not sold? How do you as a company would recover the credit line which has been given to him? And there could be a case where his inventory is not sold. What happens in that case?
So that's a good question, Sonia. So that's so in a scenario where, say, Miss Sonia is coming on board and she's, say, a laptop seller, and she comes on board and she buys for 10 lakhs and she's not able to sell a inventory. That's your question. So our system absorbs situations like that, and the onus becomes on the BBX platform for us to bring you a buyer and exhaust your inventory. Till then, nobody is going to call you to ask you to pay the money back. So that guarantee is from BBX.
So you pledge your excess inventory,
Yes.
so to say, and that becomes rightfully BBX to really buy from you, and so BBS has to bring the liquidity back.
Yes, exactly.
That exercise is a liquidity exercise which you need to do. So you held on something which is.
So what BBX does is BBX will start promoting your products more aggressively, because the onus is on BBX to make sure that we capitalize on your excess inventory to bring your negative balance to zero.
Sure. And now continuing on that, is there a restriction on the limit then, for reasons, even while the effort is being made and the inventory still remains unsold, is there a restriction on the member not to buy or trade any further? Is there a context like that which
Yes,
comes in?
once the credit limit is exhausted, he cannot trade any further,
Okay.
or if he fails to pay any of the fees, then he will not be liable to trade any further. So these are the only two limitations. But otherwise, trade credit limit can also be increased. That is another option. Once a person creates a good credit history internally in the system of being a buyer and a seller, then his credit limit can be instantly increased within the system.
Hmm. All right. Now, my second question, which I want to ask, because here we're dealing with a lot of unsold inventories. We talked about hotels, we talked about salons, restaurants, and certain products also. Now, my question here is, most of the unsold inventory, as far as maybe a salon or a hotel or even a restaurant is concerned, is typically on a week or maybe null seasons. For a hotel, there are certain months which don't do well. For a restaurant, maybe weekdays or afternoons or mornings, depending on the time of the day or the period, does not do well. So how is this inventory selected? Is there a period under which the inventory is selected and says, this inventory is available for these many hours, these many days? One. And second, I want to even ask, is there a quality check done by BBX? What kind of inventories you want to take on board? Because you mentioned you also would run on certain risk if certain inventories or products are on the platform, which might have a longer gestation time. So is there a quality check done by you before these product or members are onboarded?
As far as the quality check is concerned, BBX does not take liability for the quality of the products being sold or bought. So, because what is BBX? BBX is only a platform that facilitates the buyer and the seller. So, once a buyer shows interest, buyer can directly see the contact number and all the contact details of the buyer or of the seller. So, the buyer contacts the seller and he gets all the details of the quality of the payment platform. So, I have to also clarify that BBX is so robust that it also gives you an option to settle the payment in part cash and part DTC. It is not 100% DTC all the time. For example, if a buyer says, if a seller says that I need part of it in cash, maybe 50% cash and 50% DTC, the system is robust to do that. So which is perfectly fine. So if they say, okay, 50% cash and 50% DTC, in that sense, okay, first the amount, the mode of settlement is decided, then comes the quality, then the buyer and the seller negotiate and decide what quality it is. There is a 7-day of gestation period once the quantity is transacted between the buyer and the seller. And the buyer and the seller, if they're not happy with it, we can reverse the transaction.
Okay. All right. And now, just to add on to that, Vijay, you said quality. When I say quality, not exactly the quality. What I mean is maybe the quality of the inventory type, which you think can be fast moving. There would be certain inventories based on your own experience, which would not move. So is there any kind of parameters that you take into consideration before onboarding certain products?
We have an internal screening system of what products is to be put up, and we have a screening system also so that fake products don't come into the system and fraudulent activities don't happen into the system. So we have checks and balances for that. Definitely, those have been a proven track record for BBX.
Okay. Now, would you want to also answer, like I talked about hotel salon, there are null hours or null months where the business does not come in. So,
That's
how
a,
is the inventory listed in these cases? They
that's
would list it only for a month, and say if it is consumed in that month, it is effective, and they can withdraw that listing after some time.
That's a good question, Sonia. So what happens is that a member who, once he comes on the platform, for example, in a case of a restaurant or a saloon, now they are allowed to set up their own shop. They can advertise what they want to. Every month they can run a different promotion. They can say, if you come on this period, if you say you come between the period of 11 a.m. to 2 a.m., we are willing to accept 100% DTC. If it is outside this period, we will only accept 50% DTC and 50% cash. So there are multiple avenues for them to promote their services, time-bound services in the system, and the system promotes that.
Okay, and even the cash transactions would happen on the platform. It cannot be done at the outlet or the restaurant, right?
Cash transaction happens, either it can be done through the system, or generally what happens is that once a buyer, just off the records, once a buyer and a seller understands that there is a cash settlement possible within the system, generally buyer and seller take the cash settlement outside the system, and they do only the BBX transaction in the system, which is also fine with us.
Okay. Another question which I want to take up is on the data, because you're a tech platform and you also have a lot of data, what is currently in demand or required by the buyers. Is that data given to the partner, which could be maybe based on the location he comes from and say, this is the demand. And if you focus on these many product owners or merchants, you might sell your inventory faster, one. And a second, which I want to also maybe ask is, for example, there are a lot of members which maybe a partner brings on board. So is there any feedback given on the demand and how many people in the vicinity or in that area which are looking at that product but not buying? There could be certain reasons why not going for that offer. So any kind of analytics is given back to the franchisee or the member on board?
Definitely. Yes, our system tracks all these people who come into the system, view how many people have viewed the products, how many people have commented on it. All these things can be seen, and this can be shared with all the community licensees, saying that there is a demand for this product, but you don't have any members. Can you bring in this member? It also happens that if I go to, say, I'm a city licensee or a community licensee, I go to Mr. Gaurav and say, Mr. Gaurav, you are a laptop seller, I understand. I'm giving you a credit line of 2.5 lakhs. First, tell me how would you like to spend it? That's going to be my first question. Rather than you selling your product, you tell me what you want. Now, Mr. Gaurav would want to tell, okay, I need some furniture to my office. Can you bring it? Without spending anything, I can bring the furniture to his office. So he's not spent a single rupee. I'm bringing furniture to his office. So once he's happy, now I say, Mr. Gaurav, you can do the same thing. You don't have to pay me back as money. You have to just showcase your products into the system, and you can just I will buy you. I'll bring you buyers into the system, so that's how we build a community, and we have community in place.
Great.
Interesting.
Okay.
And also, there is one question. Just Raman, who is a senior consultant, is asking that pricing. A lot of people who come with their manufacturers start coming in. They sometimes overprice themselves in the market. How do we validate price? While I know this transaction is between seller and a buyer, and seller and buyer can also always validate is it right or no. But do we participate in some kind of guidelines saying how MRP has to be defined and for some kind of check of registering the product?
We don't have a mechanism to check the pricing of the products. It is purely depend on the negotiations of the buyer and the seller. So it is quite likely that we will have more than one seller of the same product in the community in the days to come. So there will be internal competitions as well of the pricing. So it will be very easy to, and it's very easy to see, right? If you say furniture sellers, if you just shortlist of all these furniture sellers in India, the same product will be throwing up different prices, and it will be easy to find out what the actual price is. So I don't think anybody will give inflated prices. And also at the stage of negotiation, there will be many questions being asked by the buyer and the seller, and there will be a lot of negotiating happening at that stage as well.
Right, like Amazon also does, whenever you select something, then you have the entire list of other merchants which come in and which tells you that the same product is available at these many prices from other merchants. Okay, maybe one or two questions, then I would like to request Venus also to come in. One, I want to pick up on the support to the franchisees, if you can answer that. And second, I have one of our viewers wanting to know if they can even acquire members outside the country. Is that an option?
Yeah.
That's the first time somebody has asked me this question.
Really?
Can somebody acquire members outside the country, and how will it benefit? We need to come up with a mechanism for that. It's not happened yet. Yes, if it happens, then we'll be happy to facilitate such a transfer.
All right. And second was my question on the support to the franchisees.
Yes, you're asking me?
Yeah. What kind of support is given to a new franchisee which comes in? And maybe together, if you can also answer, the term of the two partners. One is the franchisee who would build community, and the other is the member. What is the total term of their agreement with the company? And what kind of extension terms you have? Is there a renewal fee which comes in after a certain term has expired?
Well, the arrangement is a permanent arrangement. We don't have any renewals. Once a member comes on platform, it is a permanent arrangement, and this 25,000 fee is a one-time fee for membership for lifetime. But there is a recurring cost of 2,500 rupees per member every year as an admin and a technology cost. So otherwise, there is no fees that anybody has to pay other than if somebody fails to pay the admin fee or the transaction fee, then there will be a penalty for that late fee. Other than that, there is no fees whatsoever for any of the members. So as far as asking what are the support that BBX offers, first BBX offers flawless technology. One and second is we offer all the community licensees who come on board a full-fledged training in terms of what BBX is, mock sessions, collaterals, marketing materials. We offer them complete training. Perhaps it might run through a week, as to how to sell BBX, how to do trading on the platform, how to use our CRM platform to generate reports, how to do invoicing, how to do DTC accounting treatment, how to answer legal questions if somebody asks. Many of the common questions people ask is DTC even legal? Is it a cryptocurrency? So we help you to answer those questions in legal terms and in accounting terms, straight from the experts' mouth. And these are the kind of intense training that you will go through. We will prepare you completely to before you go into the market to speak to anyone, because we don't want different messaging to go from different people. And we will also be running online campaigns internally. Our marketing is completely online. We don't do hard marketing. We do online marketing, 100% of which. And any of the leads that we generate through our leads will be shared with the community licensees.
Okay, wonderful. Great. I'd like to
Also,
know.
there is a question from Monica Ji. Monica Ji is our senior consultant in Calcutta, and she's
Hi,
saying
Monica.
services also service companies professionals can also come on a platform.
Absolutely.
जैसे चार्टर अपनी services देना चाहता है.
Absolutely. In fact, services sell more than products. So
Okay.
services are in very high demand. For example, if you are a website designer, somebody in Australia might be interested to use your services because it is very expensive to set up a website in Australia. And if you are an accountant, we have accountants in India who've shown interest to sell their services outside the country. You might be a BPO, running a BPO business. You might be having a buyer outside the country. So we will have services in India, and service
Right.
industry
That's very
is
interesting.
yeah, service industry is going to be very big in India because that is going to be used by other countries, because it is much cost effective in India than UK and Australia.
Venus, your remarks.
No, I think so many questions. The last question, if you can extend on the term of the community franchisee, because you mentioned about the member, which seems to be that, if they pay their annual fee, it will continue. But what is the duration of the term for the community franchisee?
There is no duration.
There is no duration.
Yeah.
And it is mentioned in the contract then.
Yes, it's a permanent arrangement. Yes.
Oh wow.
Okay.
It can become a permanent business for people, right?
So that's a very interesting point.
As long as the community licensee fulfills the terms of agreement, he can remain a franchisee forever.
Okay. I think so many questions have already been asked, so I have nothing. I feel that BBX like concept would require more one-on-one discussions.
Yes.
I'm assuming, Vijay, you would have a process where anybody who comes back to you will take them through a detailed presentation of on one-on-one. So I think my request would be that if you're interested, come back to us and we can, Yusuf and Vijay and team can align their sessions. Gaurav, if that's okay, I have just few things which I want to sort of add to conclude the session, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I think first of all, Vijay and Yusuf, thank you so much for doing this session. It's a Sunday. Thank you for joining us. What I want to say is that 2020, has made us brought a special focus and attention on the service businesses, which are capital light, which are human and networking heavy and intense. And so we actually, as a team, we worked really, we have worked in last 6 months to kind of really focus on service brands, and we are very happy to have BBX. So 2 points to add. One, yesterday we had the 10th edition of our Master Franchise Show, but the first one, online one, so which has again many other service brands, many other international brands. It is still open today. So if you still want to meet more international brands, service brands, do visit the Master Franchise Show. It is open, as many offerings. Plus, tomorrow at 2:30 p.m., we are organizing another session. We are bringing in 10 international service brands which are offering their both master franchise, area franchise, and unit franchisees for India. As Gaurav mentioned, we are focusing on the category, and very happy to have BBX on that regard. So those are my comments.
Thanks, Gaurav.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Venus. Thanks, Sonia.
Do that.
And
And any last comments, Vijay, you have for offering?
no, it's been a wonderful journey since we've entered India. We are looking at robust partners who can partner with us through this journey, success of BBX, to be partner with us, that we will build communities and establish a business in India. And thank you, Frank Global. Thank you, Gaurav, Sonia, and Venus and team for creating this platform and helping us to connect with each other. And we look forward for a long-term relationship with each one of you.
Sonia, you want to set up a time for a discovery day?
If coming Friday or Thursday is good enough, we can take up all the inquiries that we have received today. If
We'll have both team at Franchiseindia and Fran Global to work on, and there would be a discovery day we will hold on, say, Friday. You want to do, Vijay, is okay for your diary?
Yes, perfectly fine.
So Friday next, which is what date? Sonia?
Friday would be today is 20. So yeah, so Friday is
Second of October.
Second. Oh, that's the 2nd October.
I'm sorry. Will it be okay if we do it on Thursday?
Yeah, 1st October. Yeah.
First is better.
So Thursday we're doing it.
Thursday.
Will be better, yes.
Thursday is what date?
1st October.
1st of October.
1st October. So it's a good start. So we will start. It's a great opportunity. Only 5 lakh rupee license fees, and you are up and running a business. Fabulous opportunity. So I will encourage both teams to work and filter down qualified people, which we can present to Mr. Vijay and Yusuf. And once they approve, they would obviously have to take internal approval structures. Then only the licensee would be granted. So next Thursday, if you want to apply for a one-on-one discussion, a detailed one, please reach out to us, and we at our hotline number, WhatsApp us or reach out to our hotline number, and we will be more than happy to really link you with the BBX team. So over to you, Archana, for the last thank you note, and we can close the session.
So thank you so much, all the participants who have joined us today. We really appreciate your effort putting on Sunday. Thank you so much, Vijay, Yusuf, for sharing your business idea with us. We want to extend our thanks to our panel member, Gaurav sir, Sonia ma'am, and Venus ma'am. Thank you once again. But before you go, please do share your suggestions, feedback, queries at our business hotline number, which is 97176 83838. We request you to save this number in your phone book because you'll be getting the regular updates from our side through broadcast. Once you save, then only you'll be able to receive the broadcast from our side. You can reach to management team of Franchiseindia at their respective LinkedIn IDs. That's the information I've displayed on your screen. But before you go and enjoy your lunch, we invite you for the next webinar, which is scheduled from 3 p.m. today till 5 p.m. and we are presenting top 10 popular franchise business opportunity for you. We invite you for Tamil Nadu and Kerala show, which will be hosted by again Mr. Maria along with our industry expert representing this particular webinar. Please do join us this today sharp at 3 p.m. The registration link can be received at the same business hotline number, which is again displayed on your screen. And tomorrow at the same time, 12 p.m., we are inviting you for 127th edition of Business Opportunity Chai series, where we are presenting Nursery Live to you. It's India's largest online nursery platform. Please join us tomorrow, where Mr. Nandu Singh, who is the founder at Nursery Live, talking about this great idea and sharing what kind of a value proposition they are creating in markets. So do not miss this chance. Join us today at 3 p.m. for Franchisee show and tomorrow for Business Opportunity with Chai series at 12 p.m. Thank you so much everyone for joining us today. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Good day.